Hi Professor, my name is Vikram Sharma. I'm gonna make the video what I have grabbed from class of week 7. So in this video I'm gonna discuss the concept of social exclusion, identify the reasons why homeless youth may engage in crime, understand why some youth join gangs, recognize why indigenous people are overrepresented in the Canadian criminal justice system, define hate crime and know which groups in Canada may be victims of hate crime, and recognize the types of violence women are more likely subject to be subject to be subjected. Yeah. So introduction. So social exclusion influences crime and victimization. So group issues examine homeless youth gangs, indigenous peoples, hate crimes, violence against women. So social exclusion is not simply related to income inequality. It should not be equated with income inequality or poverty. Marginalization or social exclusion have physical and non-physical aspects, and non-poor people can be affected as well. So Walker defines social exclusion as the process of being shut out fully or partially from any of the social, economic, political, or cultural systems that determine the social integration of a person into society. Social exclusion may therefore be seen as the denial or non-realization of the civil, political, and social rights of citizenship. So social exclusion is a multi-dimensional where while there is a relationship between people being materially disadvantaged and crime, this is one dimensional approach. Unlike impoverishment, social exclusion refers to the overall inclusion of individuals within society, not just within the economic sphere. So about homeless youth. So homeless youth means any youth for whom the street has become their habitual adobe, or like they live there for a source of livelihood, and who is in inadequately protected, supervised, or directed by responsible adults. In any given year in Canada, there are 25 to 30,000 young people who are homeless. Media focus their attention on youth involvement in prostitution, drugs, nuisances caused by panhandlers. So research on homeless youth's experiences with crime, delinquency, and victimization in Canada is relatively, I think, new. So Hagen and BM they have published a book in 1997, Mean Streets, Youth Crime and Homelessness. So Stephen Bond in 2013 on street youth and crime. Like they have a kind of survey in I think in 2013 or maybe in 2016 they conducted a survey. Yeah. So what is the reason behind why homeless youth engaging in crime, according to Hagen and MC. A homeless youth illegal activities had more to do with the youth current adverse situations than with their disadvantaged backgrounds. Their background revealed they had come from economically marginalized households and had endured physical and or sexual abuse growing up, as well as parental criminality, alcohol abuse, and drug abuse. So Barron in 2013, stressful situations like not having a job can lead homeless youth to criminal activity. Important to understand why themselves in adverse predicaments. Youth who felt the most excluded from society in general were the ones at greatest risk of committing crime. So homeless youth face exclusion on several different fronts. Most experienced childhood trauma and abuse and involvement with child protection services. High symptoms of distress. Significant numbers had at least one suicide attempt and at least one overdose requiring hospitalization respectively. So Grady in 1988 compared the lives of two groups of Toronto homeless youth, squeaky kids less involved in crime and drug use and better housed. Squeaking made them feel in a small way more valued than other street street youth with the most troubled backgrounds, and those who are currently facing adverse situations were the most likely to be making money by engaging in risky or illegal activities. Compared to housed youth, homeless youth have greater involvement in criminal behavior and experiences of criminal victimization. Being young and homeless means having increased exposure to dangerous situations and presents opportunities for involvement in risky behaviors. So like there is a table like which I also learned from this class. So like precipitating factors, courage to change, securing help, transiting from and change in routine, and successful exiting. Yeah, so this is a homeless. So youth gangs, mass media mostly from police sources depict gang activity in Canada as a growing and violent menace. This despite that, unlikely in the USA, official counts of gang activity are not collected on a regular basis in Canada. While we know gang exists in Canada, there is no research on how many youth are involved and whether this number has changed. So Wortley and Tanner identified power, money, respect, protection, and social support as the reasons that the youth in their study identified with gangs. Two reasons for growth in American gangs: economics restructuring, and industrialization that eliminated man working class jobs from many inner cities across America. Increased demand for illegal street drugs. Gangs became involved in the distribution of illegal drugs throughout the US and elsewhere, attractive for uneducated youth who possess few marketable skills. So youth are initially attracted to gang life because of the protection it provides us from an unsafe, intimidating neighborhood environment. Little research on females in gangs, but it shows that mostly females involved in gang activity do so within the context of a male gang. The appeal of joining a gang has to do with the perception that gang life could be a complete opposite of their bleak current reality. So Indigenous people in Canada. Indigenous people have experienced social exclusion from the early days of colonization. Indicators include high rates of suicides, diabetes, heart disease, stroke, homelessness, substance abuse, and lower than average life expectancy, as well as over-representation in the criminal justice system. While only 3% of the total population are kind of indigenous, they make up between like from one from 5 and as well as 1 from 4, yeah, of the present population. Among youth it is close to half, like 1:2. So in 2015, the Truth and the Reconciliation Commission made 94 calls to action, made 17 of them, almost 20%, in the area of justice, particularly regarding indigenous peoples over representation in the criminal justice system, wrongful convictions, and other negative experiences. Many of them have their agencies of the state and hate crime. So crime motivated by antagonisms towards race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, or religion. So hate propaganda refers to advocating genocide, public incitement of hatred, or the willful promotion of hatred against an indefinable group, including those different by color, race, religion, or ethnic origin and sexual orientation. So in the 1970 first hate crime law in Canada, this law came in 1970. The Canadian courts can increase penalties when an offense was motivated by prejudice based on race, national, ethnic origin, language, any kind of language, religion, sex, age, mental or physical disability, or sexual orientation, or other similar factors. So criminal law is an institutional mechanism to protect particular groups in society who have historically been socially excluded. So these are the things, professor, which I grabbed from class of week 7. And my name is Vikram Sharma. My student ID is 2326762. Thank you.